We are live here.
Except they took away that pistachio cake. What was up with that? That was my favorite thing.
I'm sorry.
Always something.
That's a bummer.
I don't even like really sweet stuff.
But you call them, and you know what? At least they're not getting eliminations. You know, like
I was going to ask Mike.
I was like,
how are you doing? Do we need to call the ambulance? Are you?
Well, you know what? I was hoping I got that new Apple Watch so I could check my ECG and be like, "Am I having a heart attack?" Or
Are you okay? Are you all right?
I'm good.
20 years is plenty of time.
I posted on Twitter that at least it held off long enough that now we have. You have all the music forever. You got the videos, like the Martin's vid. There'll be a Martin's vid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Martin is going to totally destroy that one. It's going to be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got 20 years with it.
20 years. There are many marriages that don't last.
That's true.
I get another point.
Yep,
you have to be the scorekeeper. That's what I'll do.
I need to figure out an overlay for that. That's like 7 points right there.
10 points for Gryffindor.
Yes.
I don't know what that means, but not.
That's all right. Pam and I do. That's all that matters.
Gryffindor, I think that's at the Italy booth for the
food. No.
It's that nasty ravioli that they've had for the last 20 years.
Italy's such an embarrassment. It was so bad again this year.
Right?
It was terrible. It was okay.
Why can they not make good Italian
Have
food?
these people ever been to Italy, or have they just been to the Olive Garden?
I just don't get it.
Just the Olive Garden. That's
just
all.
The Olive Garden. Yeah.
Just the Olive Garden. They think that that's the best thing ever because there's an Olive Garden in Times Square, so that must mean it's good, right?
You make it there, you can make it anywhere.
$1 million question, Todd. Is the Olive Garden unlimited pasta pass? Is that a deal or a bad?
That is a terrible idea.
I could, please don't.
yes. Thank you.
Friends don't let friends unlimited pasta pass.
That's correct.
I'll give you Taco Bell, but not Olive Garden.
No, friends do not let friends buy the unlimited pasta pass.
Remember when they used to be like, they had these commercials like suggesting that like this Italian family, their relatives came in from Italy, and then they all went to the Olive Garden. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Like, what is going on here?
No.
Isn't that the kickoff to the Adventures by Disney Italy?
Yeah, you go to.
Yes, we all go to Olive Garden in Rome. There's a lovely Olive Garden down by the river.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let's do it. First question's actually about food, so be ready.
Oh, okay, I think we can handle this.
Yeah, I dug through. Okay, here we
go.
We go, everybody. Ricky's getting ready to cruise.
I am. Oh God, it's like
George
the countdown is killing me.
Hey, George.
Killing me. Me.
Aaron, you're right. I get the Fritos burrito $1. That's the best $1 you can spend. Anyway, here we go. Okay.
This is so wrong.
I know it's Apple Week. Like my phone's just prepared for shipment. I'm so excited. I love it because I don't have a 10. Everybody else has one. I don't have.
Well, I'm gonna be getting a 10 myself. I think here soon. So
I got the max. I got the
my lease is up in October, so I'm probably gonna get a new phone.
Mine's already heading to Gazelle, my old one. So.
Well, that's good.
Go to a new home.
I'm leasing mine, so I'm just turning it back in.
I'm going to do that next time. I was always worried that I wouldn't get it on day one, so I never did it. But I figured
I don't care at this point. It's fine. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Let's do this.
Let's go.
Number. Okay, 13. Here we go. Welcome to episode 1383 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com. And one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hopefully you're having a great week, and we are going to have some fun listener questions today. So thanks to everybody who continues to send in the questions to Mike at BeOurGuestPodcast.com. We get to those as quickly as we can, and we've got a panel of 4 today. So we're excited for that. So joining us, we have the usual suspects from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and the Mouse for Less, and very soon the Disney Magic. We have Ricky. What's going on, Ricky?
That's right. I've got my beautiful Dora magnets printed, ready to go. So I'm very excited about that. And I leave tonight, which it's Wednesday, right? So I leave tonight to go to New York, and then I set sail on the Disney Magic tomorrow. So I'm very excited about this. It's going to be amazing. So Super
You need to
excited.
play that song. If you get caught between the moon and New York City.
Maybe.
That'd be a great one for your
Don't sing
playlist.
anymore. That would be a good idea. That's probably good. Yeah. So anyway, I'm excited to do the cruise. It's a Halloween cruise. It's a Canada cruise. I'm super, super excited about this. So I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about it when I get back. So you guys will have to hear all about it here on the podcast.
The cruise with Len Testa. I mean, there you go.
I do get to cruise with Len Testa. So yes, that's kind of, it was when I found out that he was going to be on the cruise, I was like, because I posted it and he's like, Laurel is like, I think I'm on the same cruise as you. So that part was really kind of fun. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome time.
So get in the tequila tastings early. Be ready.
There will be no tequila left on the ship. If I don't get there first. So yeah.
A hot item. All right. Also joining us, we have the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester, getting ready to travel herself very soon. I'm jealous. You guys are going fun places. What's up, Pam?
I was like sitting here thinking, where am I going? Like I knew I was going somewhere when you were talking about Ricky's cruise. I was thinking to myself, I know I'm going somewhere soon, but where is it? Yes. No, I was working on a little bit this weekend because, as a travel agent, I am my worst client. I'm my worst person for myself. So last weekend I was kind of scrambling to make some reservations we're going to do the luau when we're out there. Hopefully we'll get to see George too. I saw that he's in the chat room. So awesome. Hopefully we don't eat at Chick-fil-A, George, when we're out there in Hawaii. But I've made reservations for a couple nights at Ama Ama, which is the nicer restaurant out there at Alani. So lots of good things to look forward to there, kind of plan some of our days. And I'll be doing Disneyland on either side of that. So trying to get all that set up. So I'm ready.
Nice.
Okay. Sort of.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Also joining us, we have a special guest today. He's going to be joining us for Friday show. So he came in early. We have Chef Todd from the east side of St. Louis, not East St. Louis, though, just the east side of the river. What's going on? What's going on, Todd? Only St. Louis people get that reference, just so you're safe.
How you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
No problem. All right, let's jump into the first question because Todd, I think you can help us out with this one. It comes from Kurt. He says the title of it's Bus Roulette Question. He says, Mike, going to Disney this coming weekend. So this came in just a couple of days ago for a weekend getaway. Just my wife and I, since the kids will be busy. Due to my work situation, we're actually coming from different directions and meeting at the resort Friday evening. My wife wanted to plan that evening, but I suggested playing bus roulette. Once we are ready to go out, we'll just take the first bus we see, except for the water parks. We've been to Walt Disney World multiple times, so there isn't anything special we have to do. My question is, between the 4 parks and Disney Springs, what are your suggestions for restaurants that we could possibly go to? He says with an ADR, but I think he meant without an ADR. We are both foodies and like trying different things. Annual pass holders and Tables in Wonderland discounts. I know this is late for this week's show, but it'll be interesting to see what our experience is compared to the answers you give. Kurt. All right, Kurt. We bumped you right to the top of the show. So here we go. Todd, he's looking for suggestions for dining. I guess they're looking for sit down because they're talking about Tables of Wonderland AP discounts, but not necessarily table service, I guess. But the 4 theme parks in Disney Springs, just kind of off the top of your head, where would you head if they're going to do a little bus roulette?
Bus roulette. Well, one thing I could say, if you don't have an ADR for some of these places, you could get the Open Table app, and a lot of the restaurants are on Open Table, so there's some last-minute reservations available there if you can't get the actual ADR, through the My Disney experience. Some easy ones to get to last minute, maybe teppanyaki, the Japanese stir fry in Japan. It tends to be available late. Some of the restaurants in Disney Springs, like Terralina is a big place. We got a late reservation there the other night. Enzo's Hideaway. A couple of those places are big enough where they can accommodate a last minute walk up possibly. Magic Kingdom, I'm not a big table service fan of at Magic Kingdom. I just haven't done it much, so I would think they're probably pretty busy. I would think that you'd need a reservation there. But probably Epcot and Disney Springs are your best shots at a last minute walk up.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a hard time, I think, at the studios because there's just not a lot of options.
Very likely there too.
What about, could you get a Brown Derby last minute? I think I've heard people have pretty good success with kind of scoring last minute ADRs at Brown Derby if you want to go, signature.
That's happened. Pam, you've done it probably. Haven't you, last minute walk up?
Yeah, we have. But you know what I'm much more inclined to do is the Brown Derby Lounge. They don't even take ADRs, so you can just walk up. And it is one of the best people watching space ever, I think. Plus you can see that Star Wars show if they're doing it up there. I think the Open Table app that Chef Todd recommended is an awesome suggestion. And I think, this is, of course, my take on this, but we did a lot of lounges because I don't make a lot of dining reservations. And you get some great food there. I mean, even the California Grill has a lounge that you can walk into. And we do that a lot and really haven't encountered many problems with it. So, think about those things too. If there's a signature restaurant that's appealing to you, chances are that there's a lounge where you can order from the full menu, or you can just order what's available there in the lounge too. So those are things that you might want to think about as well. And don't forget places like Jock Lindsay's and things like that. They're putting out some good food there too.
In our live chat, we love the live chat. Kelsey's suggesting Tiffin's might have availability too. So if you end up with that bus to Animal Kingdom, that's an option. And Michael's saying, if you take the bus to the studios or Epcot, it opens up the boardwalk and beach club area. So you got, Ale and Compass, Beaches and Cream, Flying Fish. I don't know if you're going to get one there. Maybe. But Trattoria El Forno. I like that one too. Ricky, any suggestions for this bus roulette to kind of score a last minute place to eat this Friday? Like you'll be cruising, but the rest of us that aren't cruising.
Well, since I didn't hear the suggestions, I might throw out something that somebody said, but I'm going to say you could do 50s primetime at the Tune In Lounge. So that's going to be something that could be an option. And let's see here at the Plaza at the Magic Kingdom, maybe. So those are a couple of options that I think are kind of outside the box that maybe haven't probably been said since I didn't know what was said before.
You dropped out there for a second, but you're back. All right. Next question is from Brent, and the title is Riviera DVC Resort Buses. Hey, Mike, love the show. So when the new Riviera DVC opens, do you think they will share a bus with Caribbean Beach or have its own service? Seems too small to have a dedicated bus line, but seems less than ideal to share buses with such a large resort. Brad, and he says, P.S. Go Cubs. So I almost didn't use but we'll go. All right. So Pam, what are your thoughts? Do you think, because it's kind of like he makes a good point. Riviera is not going to be huge, but I mean, if you tie it in with Caribbean Beach, it's almost too big. I would imagine it'll have its own bus, right? Would you say?
Let's think about the other though. Resorts that have a DVC component, they don't really have their own bus. Bay Lake shares with Contemporary, Grand Floridian Villas shares with the Grand Floridian, Wilderness Lodge Villas shares with the Wilderness Lodge. I don't think they'll have their own, but I think Disney's really good at sort of adapting the schedule that they have, based on the size of the resort and whatnot, and they send more buses there or make adjustments. So I think it's something that they've certainly thought of, or let's hope they thought of. I don't know. But either way, I think that they'll make adjustments to do it. I mean, Caribbean Beach is one of the larger resorts actually on Walt Disney World property. So maybe what they'll do is just make it more frequent, have more frequent buses, or send those larger buses specifically to some of the larger resorts. And that's something that you can think about too. So.
But to remember, it's going to be on the gondola line. So
that will help with some of that as well. Yes, the gondolas. So
it's going to be interesting. No. Let's not start that. Maybe. All right, the next email is Halloween decoration for an Aussie that doesn't understand. It's from Tracy. Hi, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. I love your show and can't wait to see where you take me each week. So here we go. We've been all over the place already. I visited Walt Disney World a couple of times from here down under, but always at around Christmas time. That's just when our school holidays are. Now that my kids are all grown up and I'm not tied to a particular timetable for vacation anymore, I'm checking out my other options. For a couple of years now, I've been wondering what the differences are to visiting the world during the Halloween festivities. We don't really get into Halloween here in Australia, so I don't know what to expect. But you make it sound so lovely in the parks that I'm keen to see it for myself. Part of my plan would be to take a couple of days away from the parks to get around and see how the resorts are decorated for a different season. But I'd like to stay at one that really immerses guests in the spirit of the season. Which resorts do you think would give me the deepest dive into Halloween for a newbie? I live in Brisbane, 14,690 kilometers from Walt Disney World, and a really long way from where Pam lives. You guys are the best and never fail to keep me smiling. Kind regards, Tracy. All right, so Ricky, how would you describe, the comparison between the Christmas season and the Halloween season for somebody who hasn't grown up with Halloween as part of the culture. What would you say? And what resort would you pick if you were Tracy to really? Because I think you got to combine. To me, I think what you got to do is kind of combine the fall feel with the Halloween season as well. Here. So what do you think?
Right. Yeah, that resort is stumping me at the moment. But as far as like the differences between Halloween and Christmas, I mean, they're both kind of magical in a weird sort of way, especially at Walt Disney World. If you're looking at Universal and Halloween Horror Nights, maybe not so magical, maybe more deathly. But Disney definitely has a bit of a magical sense to their Halloween. It's really kind of there's something that it's not very describable of what it is. It's just a lot of fun. I mean, they have all the decorations out at the Magic Kingdom with the pumpkin people and all that kind of stuff, and they've got the fall decorations in Liberty Square. Really, the Magic Kingdom is the only place that celebrates Halloween per se at Walt Disney World. So as long as you go to the Magic Kingdom, and I would definitely suggest hitting up the Halloween party, to get a real feel of kind of Halloween, fun Halloween, I guess I should say, to really understand what's going on with that. Gosh, I can't pick like a fall resort, or a resort that kind of screams fall. Maybe Wilderness Lodge, I think, or Fort Wilderness. I think
the most would be Fort Wilderness. I mean, of course, that's a different type of feel to your stay. If you're used to a typical, say, Riverside or Beach Club, I mean, you're gonna have a totally different feel over there. But it is more like because when we think of, I mean, here in the States, when we think of Halloween in the fall, we think of like hay rides. We think,
right.
Apple picking, stuff. At least here in the Midwest, that's kind of
the kind of wagon ride at Fort Wilderness, which would be kind of fun. As a kind of fall themed activity, and I know that they have the Sleepy Hollow where you can meet the Headless Horseman at Fort Wilderness as well. It is an upcharge, so there is a fee to it, but it's still kind of a cool little activity if you're looking for something kind of different as well.
All right, let's get to the next question. It's from Matthew. He says, hot take and Disney Cruise bounce back question.
Oh my gosh, he didn't say it like he usually says hot take. Yeah, there you go.
No.
He says, Mike, Ricky, and Pam, my family and I will be doing a Halloween on the High Seas cruise on October 6th, 2018. We hear the bounce back offer is great. Can you explain what it is and how to transfer it to our agent? And also, does Ricky have a hot take on what is her favorite activity to do on sea days? I want to thank y'all all for all the great work that you do to deliver a consistently positive and informative podcast. Go D-backs. Everybody's got their team today. Matt's out in Goodyear, Arizona. All right, so let me just explain the bounce back. So what you can do on a Disney cruise is that basically they made it simpler from years past. Years past, you would always, the trick was, and now you don't have to do this anymore, but it was, you would book out the furthest you could, book an 11C, so you had the smallest deposit, and then you'd change the date later on down the road. Disney Cruise Line finally threw us a bone and made this easier. You put down $250. It's what's called a placeholder booking. You have 2 years to sail from the day you put down that deposit, and you can move it to any future cruise, and you'll get 10% off the best prevailing rate. So very, very simple. And if you're working with a travel agent, just let them know that you're working with a travel agent, and they should assign that to the travel agent. And did I miss anything there, Pam? Did I pass the test? What do you think?
Well, so there's certain circumstances where the bounce back offer is really not going to help you. It's only valid on certain sailing dates. If you're staying at a certain category and above, not going to be, it's not going to be worth it for a few reasons. There are also, if you go, what happened to Ricky actually is she had a bounce back offer, but the sailing that she's on right now, she actually had a guaranteed category stateroom, which is one of the least expensive ways to sail with Disney Cruise Line. The bounce back discount is not combinable with that. So things like that. But yeah, I mean, if you know you want to sail and you're willing to sail during one of the days when they're able to apply that bounce back offer, it is a good thing. But make sure, here's what I always tell people to do. Make sure that when you get home, you get with your travel agent, because we can advise you right then and there. Hey, you usually cruise here. This is going to be helpful to you. This isn't going to be helpful to you. And there are some changes in the onboard credit, of course, that we can offer because of that too. So just be aware of all that.
Yeah, but I would say too, it doesn't hurt to book the bounce back while you're on, because the worst can get the 250 back.
Right.
You can cancel
Exactly.
get the money back. You're never going to lose money on it.
Mhm.
So don't really don't get off if you're going to sail again, don't get off the ship without booking it, because what happens is if you don't sail within 2 years, you get the refund. It's automatic. So okay, well, let's move on to the fun thing, because it's the hot take Ricky's got for the sea days. I say tastings. I love tastings and
Ooh.
trivia. That's my sea days, and Palo brunch, but
It's true.
I might have taken yours. Go ahead, Ricky. What do you do on sea days?
Yeah, so I definitely do Palo brunch. Although this cruise, as of right now, I don't have a Palo brunch scheduled. So I'm hoping I can get one when I get on the ship. I'm so hoping. I think that I probably will be able to.
Maybe Len booked it for everybody. You don't know. You already have a seat. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah, I doubt it. Yeah. So yeah, he booked the entire restaurant. I'm not gonna get to go in.
Man, I was at Epcot one day when he booked the entire
Yes, he
left
did.
side of World Showcase for people to eat nachos and all that stuff. That was
that was in Mexico. That was crazy. But yeah, so what else do I like to do at sea days? Really, I like to relax. You don't really have the opportunity to do that. What? I know, right? I actually do relax. I take a book and I go and I sit up on the deck and I read said book. I mean, that's crazy, right? But it's so nice to have just that free time where I can sit there and do that, because I don't have the opportunity to sit and read for long periods of time when I'm at home. So that part's really nice. Like you said, I take advantage of the activities that are being offered on the ship. So I'll definitely look at the navigator and see if there's anything in there that I really, really, really have to do. But really, that day is just all about the relaxation. And I can't even tell you how excited I am about my sea day on Friday. So it's going to be amazing. And I have another one after that.
That's actually why I am the most jealous. I love to read, and I hardly get time to read at home. I have like all these books on my Kindle, which I know I'll never get to. But on a cruise, I actually do read, except when I get called down to stop people from behaving like children.
Yes, this is true. See, the good news is I won't have to go stop people from behaving like children this time at tequila tastings. So that part's
exactly like that. So yeah,
the children I will have on my cruise is my husband. So and we all know what that's like sometimes.
We all have Pittsburgh Penguin shirts for the next cruise. That's all I'm saying. I can't wait. Oh my gosh. All right, next question is from Mandy. It's Amazon Prime or Garden Grocer. Hi, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. Absolutely love listening to the podcast. I'm planning our first family surf and turf trip. That's another way to call it. A lot of people call it land and sea, but surf and turf will work.
I like surf and turf.
It kind of reminds me of steak and a lobster. And it's coming up on October 2nd. I'm so excited. We're spending 5 days in the parks and embarking on our first Disney cruise, which will be a 4-nighter on the Dream. Listening to the show makes us more excited for our trip. I bet that last question just really helped Mandy right there. My question is this. We're staying at Saratoga Springs on the first leg in a 1-bedroom villa, and I want to order some groceries to make breakfast in the room and other items, including diapers, sunscreen, etc. I am a bit confused as to which delivery service will be my best, easiest option. Do you all have a preference? If so, which do you prefer, Amazon Prime or Garden Grocer? Any other tips you can offer would be much appreciated. Thanks for everything you do. Mandy's up in Seattle, Washington, so she's making the long trek across the country. Todd, when you go down, do you ever prepare any meals in the room? I mean, I know that the focus of your trips a lot of times is to kind of sample the goods, as far as restaurants and stuff like that, but have you ever had anything delivered to the room or anything like that?
No, I haven't. I usually stop on the way down and grab some refreshments for the refrigerator and a couple of breakfast items, maybe some Pop-Tarts or things like that, a little milk for my little one. But we just kind of grab something in the morning and head out. We've never stayed at a place that had a kitchen or a kitchenette or anything like that, so that's not part of what we do. But I understand that's a good way to save money and save some time in the morning if you want to make your breakfast. I've heard that Garden Grocer is nice. I haven't heard much about the Amazon Prime Now. I do know that, not that I would have done this yet, but if you get any alcoholic beverages delivered, you have to have somebody with an ID to pick it up. I do know that for sure. So keep it in mind.
Good tip,
Probably
though.
not for
Good tip.
diapers.
Yeah, you don't want to get stuck at the front door without letting it in. But no, we typically just snack in the rooms.
Yeah, it's got, I've used Amazon Prime Now. I've used Amazon Prime. It just depends. Like the groceries are more of the Prime Now stuff. And I've gotten cases of soda, like I drink a lot of Coke Zero. We'll get things like you said, like Pop-Tarts, crackers, chips, stuff, just for the room. Like when it's 11 o'clock at night, you get back and you don't want to go to the food court.
Right.
You don't want a snack before bed. We get that kind of stuff. I've never used Garden Grocer. Pam, I know you have, right? So suggestions for Mandy here.
So I will say, I feel I am I've mentioned this many times. We use Prime all the time at my house. Thank goodness, because I don't really like to shop that much, and stuff just shows up at my house. I mean, I don't like to go to the store and shop. I'm not going to say I don't like to shop, but I don't like to have to go out to shop. But I find that Garden Grocer has more of a variety of items that than Prime Now does. There's sort of a limited supply of what you can order from Prime Now. They're not going to have everything that you want. You can request certain things, but that's not always possible. And Garden Grocer is pretty much like a grocery store, only that's what it is. Now, people are sometimes like, well, the prices are a little high. I get that, but it's being brought to you, first of all, and if you get a bag of chips versus the price you're going to pay in a Disney, in one of the Disney grocery like gift shop kind of things, you're going to save money doing that. The case of water is still super reasonable. It comes out to about the price of like 4 water bottles in the parks. So, I think that Garden Grocer, it's just been around for forever. They're good at what they do. I think if it's not broke, don't fix it. So.
And Michael's also offering up in the chat here as we record live, nowadays with things like Instacart, the app, they'll go and get you stuff from like Publix, Whole Foods. Basically you can pay for a personal shopper and anything in that. It used to be more limited as to what you could get, and now it's like pretty much just, you get anything.
There's a whole new world that's opened up, thanks to
it is very
technology.
Good.
Love technology.
You know what? It's especially with stuff like diapers because I remember when we traveled with Mallory when she was younger. We drove back then, but I mean, just taking diapers for a week took up a ton of space in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd have been much easier to get them when we got there. We're stupid. We had our own car. Why didn't we stop at Target? Why do we haul?
Why not bring them from home? And
I know. Those diapers are okay, man. Those people, I'm saying. All right, next question. Possible dumb listener question about Disney gift cards at Walt Disney World. So here we go. We got to help somebody not be dumb. Hello, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. Thank you for the great content each and every week. We're heading to the world for 8 days, starting on September 28th. On our past trips, we've barely used Disney gift cards, and the ones we used were always for merchandise purchases. I have a question about using them for dining, as we have a few gift cards for this trip. This will be our first food and wine festival. Can the gift cards be used at the food booths? Also, we have the free quick service dining plan, but do have 3 table service ADRs. Can gift cards be used at table service restaurants? Thanks so much and have a magical week. They are, Zambricki. Jason Zambricki. He's in Pittston, Pennsylvania. He says the tomato capital of the world. Pam, is that close to you? I got to ask you that.
I don't even know what this town is. I'm Googling it right now. Pittston, P-I-T-T.
It's like Pittsburgh, but with a T-O-N instead of a berg on the end. So I figured they're like sister city or something. I don't know.
I'm looking. I don't know about it, but
there you go. So let me ask Todd this one. So Todd, do you ever use gift cards at the food booths? And you can use Disney gift cards anywhere. You can use
just like a credit card. They're accepted everywhere. The Food and Wine Festival did offer a special gift card this year for those who are interested. If you load it with $250, they get a special gift card and a cute little lanyard with a Mickey kind of a trinket on the end of it. So if you're going to spend a couple days at the festival or anywhere for that matter, it's pretty good value, and 250 goes pretty quickly in Disney, so not a big deal.
And the good thing is like if you bought that gift card, you don't just have to use it on food and wine stuff too. You can use it anywhere, so it's not like, oh no, I'm not buying $250 worth of food. You'll spend that $250 somewhere else too.
And I found it the last day, truthfully, and it's in my bag. I didn't even use any of it, so it's just like a gift card for the next trip or credit. It's accepted everywhere, so yeah, it's pretty cute.
All right, and Jessica in the chat saying, follow up to the gift card question, do all the stores in Disney Springs take the Disney gift card? She's up in Portland, Oregon. So, Pam, would you say most do? I mean, I guess there could be an exception because, again, you got third-party vendors, but, I mean, I think they do, right? I think
most do, but you know what? I charge everything to my band, I think. So I don't, and so in the end, that means they do accept the Disney gift card because when you're at your resort, you can just pay with it with your gift card if you're there. I'm not even going to say that I know 100% that all of them do take the gift card thinking about it, because there's probably some places that don't.
Coach and stuff like that.
But I would
wouldn't think
imagine
any of
that
those-
part of the agreement, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I can't remember. We've done a lot of shopping. It seems like we always use a regular credit card shop, but I would think that most do. But there are, like Mike said, some third parties. I would think there are some that don't.
I like all the stores, like, the Pandora store, or the Kipling store, or, whatever else they've got, the Levi store. I would doubt that those stores would take a Disney gift card.
Probably
they may
not.
take the gift card from, like, Levi's would take the Levi's gift card if you have one of those, but I highly doubt that they would take like a Disney gift card at those stores. Anything that's owned by Disney. So let's put it this way. If they sell Disney merchandise in the store, like specifically only Disney merchandise, I would say that they would more than likely take a Disney gift card. But if they sell maybe Disney merchandise mixed with other stuff, so like my example for that is like Havana's flip-flops. They have Disney flip-flops, but then they also have their other flip-flops too. That would be a situation where I would think that, because
they do take a Magic Band there. I know that for sure.
That they took a Magic Band. Okay, that's good. So they would probably take the gift card, but you'd have to ask definitely when you're checking out to see whether that store would take the gift card or not.
So Pam, will you explain real quickly that hack that you use? Because if you want to use Disney gift cards, you can anywhere. Just charge it to your band, and then so you go down to the check-in, the check-in area of your resort. You got to do it like what, the night before checkout, or what's the latest?
Do it the night before. So we charge everything back to the room, because honestly, they give you this nice little printout at the end. It is, and it just makes things, especially for us, because we're traveling for tax. There's tax reasons and things like that. So, anyways, the printout is awesome. And you have the individual receipt as well, but we charge everything back to our room. And then like the night before checkout, you can go down if you have Disney gift cards and basically use them to pay whatever you've charged to your room during your stay. And absolutely the night before is the time to do it. Some people like to go every other day. I don't think we do that. We don't stay in a hotel, that long. We're usually bouncing around. But yeah, the night before is the time to do it.
All right. Now we got to send a shout out here in the chat. Sarah saying it's your biggest fan, Gianni from the Buffaloes. I guess maybe Buffalo. I don't know. 10th birthday. So shout out.
Happy birthday, Gianni.
There you go. You can hear it today and you can hear it on Wednesday. So there you go. All right. Next question is from Sierra. She says, hey, BOGP crew, it's a not so scary question. Here we go. I like the scary
not
one.
so scary.
I've been trying to save this question until it's semi-acceptable to talk about the holidays. Is it acceptable yet? Halloween is in full swing at Walt Disney World, and I've heard some jingle bell, jingle bam talk already. So I'm hoping I'm in the clear here. I'm so excited as my husband surprised me with Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party tickets for my big 3-0. We have taken in all the talk from the past few shows where everything has been mentioned here and there, but still have a serious question for you guys. What are your suggestions on the best strategy to do it all? Did we do this last week? Maybe we did. No, maybe it's a similar question. We are going to the first Friday party in October and have no idea what to expect other than that it's the best party and the parade is a must do. I'm really hoping that it won't be too packed and we can squeeze in all the meet and greets, candy collecting, parade watching, and the Sanderson sister show, which I am assuming is a part of the Hallowishes. Now that's the Sanderson sisters. Is that the Hocus Pocus?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Dumb
dear. Yes, dear. Yes.
All right. We consider ourselves Walt Disney World locals, so rides are kind of on the back burner, but we would like to do the ones that have been changed up for the party itself. Space Mountain for sure. It's my husband's favorite. We've heard seeing a second parade is the best way to go, as some people leave after the first, and that character lines get super long. We also heard meeting Sally and Jack are the best. I'm hoping to get in some unique characters and Stitch. Clearly, I'm just so excited and hoping to get your guidance to navigate through Not So Scary. Thanks for everything. Sierra and Joe are in Tampa, Florida. All right, so we kind of talked about this, I believe, on last Wednesday's show. We kind of gave a rundown of what order to do things for the party. But Ricky, I know this is one of your favorites, so give some suggestions quickly to Sierra as to Jack and Sally would be first, right? They're the hardest, longest line.
100%. And like we said, get to the party early. So get there at 4:00 and get in the park. And then once you walk in, head to get in line for Jack and Sally immediately. That's hands down the very first thing you should absolutely do. You could also, if meeting the characters are, obviously key, you can meet the seven dwarves. It depends on how much time you really want to spend meeting characters, and it sounds like you don't want to spend all your time meeting characters. So I wouldn't necessarily wait for maybe the seven dwarves or Moana, which are the other two like kind of characters that are unique for the party. So I would pick one out of the three unique characters and go for that. And then you can meet some of the other characters that are kind of around as well, because you've got like the Winnie the Pooh characters that dress up, and you've got some of the I know Alice in Wonderland characters meet by the Mad Tea Party, stuff like that. So you can find some of the shorter lines and meet those unique characters while you're walking around a little bit. You definitely, I would say, make sure you hit up that second parade.
Yes.
I personally, what I have done is I have done the very last Sanderson Sisters show, so the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular. I've done the last one, which I think happens at midnight. But if you want to make sure you see it, I would definitely hit up maybe an earlier show. Just in case, for some reason it's canceled, but that midnight show is definitely the one that I would suggest doing. And then the fireworks are at a set time, so you're not going to have a problem there. You definitely want to get to Main Street.
Get there early.
Yeah, get there early, get to Main Street. And then you can do the attractions. I would absolutely do the Haunted Mansion. There's going to be a long line for that because it's the Haunted Mansion. And then the other, I think you can skip the Pirates of the Caribbean one if you really wanted to.
There's people in there, man.
It's not that spectacular, though. Come on, it's a guy yelling at you from a from a bridge. I don't think it's
that's like my dream. Back in high school, I worked at Silo X out in Valley Park.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you worked at Silo X? That's awesome. By the way, my brother.
I won the $75 cash prize one night because I was the scariest person in the house.
I can believe that.
Person, yeah.
That's right. Okay. All right, that's my brother's favorite. He loves Silo X. Okay, so anyway, I would definitely do Space Mountain in the Dark, though, and I would absolutely do the Mad Tea Party because I think that's really cool the way they got the music and the lights. So, you'll have a good time. If you don't want to focus so much on the attractions, you should be able to get most of the things in without too much difficulty.
All right. And I would say definitely see that parade in Frontierland. It's just the parade's better in Frontierland. And the Cadaver Dance.
I agree. You can see, for some reason, when you're in Frontierland, it feels like your line of sight is better than even when it's on Main Street. On Main Street, I'm feeling like I'm constantly like leaning out and whatever. So, yeah.
All right, let's get to the last question of the day. It's what would you do happily ever after conundrum? And it's from Steve and Carla in Owensboro, Kentucky. Hi, Mike, Ricky, and Pam. My wife and I have been listening to your podcast religiously since we began planning our Disney vacation for a family of 5. It's us, 2 kids, and my mother-in-law last December. We are visiting October 7th through the 12th, and we're so excited to be staying at the Polynesian Villas. My big question for you is this. My wife has her heart set on seeing Happily Ever After, and I was certainly excited too. However, the week we are visiting has Halloween parties. I knew that's what this was going every night except Wednesday. Add to that, the Wednesday is an extra magic hours evening, so the park will be open until 1:00 a.m. Our current plan is to eat inside the Magic Kingdom around 6. We have a reservation at Diamond Horseshoe, and then try to get a spot for the show as soon as we're done eating. But my question is this: how crazy is it going to be to try to get a spot to view Happily Ever After? And how miserable are we going to be for the nearly 2 hours that we have to plan to stand around saving our spot for the show? Or are we better off trying to sneak on some rides and just see the fireworks part of the show from somewhere else in the park? We're afraid that with having only one show that week and extra magic hours will make for crazy crowds. What would you Disney experts do? Thanks so much for your amazing podcast and all the info you provided to help our family have a truly magical experience. Steve and Carla, they're 210 miles from me, 378 from Ricky, 494 from Pam, and 815 from the world, but only 32 miles from their other favorite world, Holiday World, which I want to go to so bad. I follow them on Instagram, and I want to get some of that free soda and sunscreen. So maybe next summer we'll have to meet up out there. You know what? They're thinking this through. Steve and Carla, they're making tons of sense here because, first of all, his wife's heart's set on Happily Ever After. So save your life, Steve. See Happily Ever After. If you have to wait 8 hours, do it. Just smart. Happy wife, happy life, right? But I don't know, Pam, give your thoughts on this because, he's trying to because he's made all the right arguments. I mean, if it's the only time, people are going to want to see it.
All right, so I have 2 suggestions. I have two suggestions. First of all, do yourself a favor, book a dessert party right now. That's the easiest thing to do. My second suggestion, and this is what my family does all the time, is we tend to roll up for fireworks between 30 minutes and 15 minutes prior. And we actually, it is busy, but if you kind of weave your way up, you can usually get a good spot. And I'm not talking like we're being rude or anything. People, like, it's not, the cast members haven't been like, get this far away from the people around you yet. We try to like hit that sweet spot. And there's a lot of spaces there. And we get up, typically, we have a good spot for it. The thing is, I think you have to feel fairly comfortable in the parks, like know where you can get into the hub when you're not already there. And you have to be okay with, sometimes it doesn't work out. Like sometimes we're stuck behind, someone, or there's a line getting into that we wanted to get into the hub, and it's not moving at all. And we're just kind of have to be okay with where we are is where we are. And some of the spots really aren't that great. So I'm just going to tell you that. So if it were me, I would absolutely be booking a dessert party. I mean, it's a small price to pay for knowing you're going to have a great location to see the fireworks. And you're going to have all those yummy desserts to eat too. And you're going to have a comfortable spot to see it from too. So enjoy.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, because the thing is, like, your wife wants to see it, and you're going to be a hero to the entire family, mother-in-law, the kids. You are going to be the rock star, and you're spending money. Don't get me wrong; you're putting down some decent money there, but it's like a VIP thing. Everybody's going to be happy. Everybody's going to walk out there because that show is it's unbelievable. Like I was really worried when Wishes left, and this is kind of why. We're talking pre-show about Illuminations being changed out, and I'm glad they're doing it the way they are. Next. They're giving us everybody's gonna have a chance to go see it one more time because it isn't happening until mid 2019. So that's good that Disney's doing this right. But one of the reasons, and back in the day, 7 years ago, I said I was gonna chain myself with Henry Work to the Earth Globe when they changed it out. But they did such a good job of replacing Wishes, which was beloved, with Happily Ever After, which is amazing. So I trust Disney again on this one. So I'm not so bitter and I'm not a bitter Betty about it. But and Steve's in the chat here. So he says dessert parties they're booked solid for that night, which I thought that might be the case.
But you might have somebody who cancels
that's true.
Before. So you might want to double check like the day before to see if maybe it opened up. That might always be a possibility.
It looks like Steve needs to buy ice cream sandwiches for the family and to squeeze in, your own dessert party on the fly. So anyway, that's have a good time. Let's know how it goes, Steve. We hope it works out for you. It is a great show, and definitely don't miss it. Thanks for all the great questions, everybody. Today, that's going to do it for today's show. Don't forget, today's episode has been brought to you by our friends over at virtualmickey.com, home of great iPhone apps like Theme Park News Disney Edition. So, Ricky, I know that Illumination's going away mid-2019. We don't have a new show name or specifics on this. I don't know if that was going to be what we're reading about on Theme Park News, but what you got for us?
So, yeah, we really don't know a lot about about the new show. There's not. I mean, all they basically said is, "Hey, Illuminations is going away." We don't know when Illuminations is going away. All we know is the end of summer 2019. And we don't know what the new show is. We don't know what the new show is going to be called. We don't know if there's going to be a gap in between the two shows. We don't know when it's going to debut. We really don't know anything about the show. All we know is that it's going to debut. So, as kind of a bummer that is. That's kind of what we're reading about. We're reading about the fact that something is happening and we don't know anything else about it.
So that's a good point, though, is to keep reading Theme Park News Disney Edition, because eventually you're going to find out the name of that show when it's going to debut and all that stuff, and you're going to be the first to know.
You will be
on this free iOS app. And it's going to look great on those on that Max and the XS and XR and the crazy names this time around. But you know what? It's for Apple devices, so check it out over at virtualmickey.com. And thanks everybody who continues to support the show with your Amazon affiliate link, purchasing through that link. We appreciate it so much. Anytime you're shopping on Amazon, whether you're doing some last minute like stuff you don't need to buy, like I hate this. Well, every time I buy a new phone, and I only get one every other year. I don't get one every year, so I'm not crazy like that, but I buy stupid stuff. Like I had to buy a new pop socket that's a Mizzou pop socket the other day. But you know what? I used the link. So I felt better about it. Even though Like, I felt bad for the guy who had to deliver the thing on a Sunday. It's a Mizzou pop socket. Seriously. Like, why are you delivering that on a Sunday? I felt so guilty. I was like, I hope he doesn't know what's in there. Please tell me he doesn't know what's in this package because it is so not life or death. But anytime you do that, spur of the moment shopping on Amazon, please click through beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Give us a follow on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube. Just search for the Be Our Guest Podcast. It's Be Our Guest Pod on Twitter and Instagram. And Be Our Guest Mike as well. And of course, you can join the Facebook group at facebook.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. All right, we're going to be back again on Friday, again, talking about the best and worst, actually, of Food and Wine 2018 with Chef Todd. So stand by for that. Grab something to eat before Friday's show. I'm telling you, if you like me and listen to podcasts, as soon as you get up in the morning when you're on your run, this one might be painful. I'm just telling you.
A lot of food. A lot of food coming up.
I saw your picture, man. They just never stopped when you were down there. I was like, oh my gosh, is there anything? Has Todd spared anything? There's a picture of everything. So stand by for that. We're going to have a good time talking food and wine on Friday. So until then, for Ricky, Pam, and Todd, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work, and we'll see you real soon. All right, let me save that bad boy. Ricky, bring your mic up just a little on your software settings because it's really low.
How do we do that again? Remind me.
I'm
sorry. I know we did that before.
Okay. It should have stuck, but hang on. Let me see.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
Sure. Episode, what was that, 13?
It's not settings, right?
It's under the control panel. Hang on. It's saving. Hang on one second.
I'm sorry.
We'll be right back. Facebook. Talking food and wine.
Well, I mean, we're not leaving, but
Let me restart the next show in a second. Okay, so it's under control panel.
wait, is that on my computer?
Yep, control panel.
Okay.
Where is it?
Control panel. Yeah, you know what? I think it had to reset the microphone, which was interesting. Hardware and sound?
Hardware and sound, yep.
Okay.
Sound adjust system.
Volume.
Is that it? I think that might. No, it's under manage audio devices, I think. Yep. So manage audio devices.
Wait. Where's that one? It's not hardware and sound?
Okay, so go to hardware and sound, and then there's a sound thing that says adjust system volume, change system sounds.
Manage audio devices. Got it.
Manage audio devices. Go to recording.
Got it.
Find the one that's bouncing when you talk into it. Mine's a line in.
Okay. That's not the one it should be, though. Okay, it should be this one.
Whichever one's moving. Mine's probably different because I'm using a mixer.
No. I see which one's moving, but that's not the one that's default. That's weird. Okay, so what am I supposed to do?
So double click that one, whichever one's moving, picking up your levels.
Okay.
And then bring your levels up a little bit to like 60 or 70.
There we go. Is that better?
Let me check. Hang on. Record here.
I'm going to save that.
Okay,
And
talk
then-
now.
Hello, testing 1, 2.
Bring it up a little more.
Okay, hold on. Let me try this one. Levels. Okay, this one may need to be brought.
That's
Okay.
Too hot. Bring it down a little.
Okay, hold on. Levels.
Yep, you're bringing it up, but bring it down just a smidge. I just heard
Okay.
your cat in the back. Don't meet the
How's
cat.
that? Is that better?
Good.
Is that better? Okay.
I'm going to get you and Todd and Pam all in the same close because you're on the same channel.
Is this? I'm gonna back my mic away a little bit too.
Yeah,
Is that better?
That's way better.
Okay. I don't know why it didn't save. That's odd because I
Pam,
definitely.
so I can see if you're all at the same levels.
What? Oh, tell me what phone I need to order because I want the one that has both cameras that can do the portrait mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get the Max because it's the same size as the Plus, but it's all screen. The thing's gonna.
That thing's gonna be huge, man.
No, it's the exact same size as the Plus body. It's no bigger
Yeah.
than the Plus body that I have now.
All right.
I wonder how much more
I don't
money
know
it
stuff.
is. I gotta figure out how much more money it's gonna cost me because they don't have 128 gig
No, they
anymore.
get you. I know that's what I have on mine. It's 256.
So now I gotta go to 256, which is gonna cost me more stupid money.
Oh, dude, I almost had a
That's
heart
only
attack.
gonna be-
when I checked out. Go ahead, Todd.
How much is that phone going to be?
Dude,
More
with Apple
than I-
Pay, mine was $1,500.
Brian's gonna kill
Yes.
me.
Dude, clear. I almost had a heart attack. But I don't
Brian's
get it here.
Actually gonna kill me. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I spend every day on my phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
well, no,
like,
I know, me too.
I use that thing all day, every day. But it was like 1240 because I got the middle one. Because like you don't want to get 64. That's not enough when you're done.
No, 64 is not enough. That's why I had 128.
Perfect. 128.
Yeah.
They don't have
Why they took away 128 so that they can make us pay for
more money.
Exactly. It's the reason you just said they get us.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
stick with my little Galaxy, my Samsung Galaxy. So I'm fine with that. Of course, I spent $1,000 on mine, so it's not much different.
That's right.
I'm
right.
I'm too deep in. I got the Apple Watch, I got the MacBook. You know, like
Right.
they do you that way. You know, it's like I can't. So frustrating. Okay, now, yeah, I know. I almost had a heart attack. I was like, oh my.
Brian can't go with me when I go shopping for that.
Pam is not watching upstairs.
I'm just gonna ask Steve to order me a phone. So
It'll be
I
surprised.
completely forgot to do it.
Yeah.
The only thing I know I want is the portrait mode because it's so nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would get the dual camera though. So you're gonna want the 10s or the 10s Max. I know you want the Max because it's just easier to read.
I don't know why I just didn't look and see which one's the most expensive. Boop. Order that one.
It is excess.
All
George has it. It is excess. That's exactly right. It's stupid. I get
Yes.
George and the biggest Apple fan, but I mean, I love Apple, but man, that was a hard one to take. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And now that I put iOS 12 on my 7 Plus, that thing is ripping fast. It's unbelievable.
Really?
Oh my gosh, it's flying again. So it's like
Oh.
after they get my money, they release iOS 12. They've already hit my credit. You know what I'm saying? Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Dude.
I haven't done that yet, so maybe I should just no.
man,
But then
so
again,
fast.
I'm leasing my phone, so it's stupid unless I just pay for it.
I always pay for it, and like I can't lease anything. So
I know. I got it.
But you
I
get
get
Apple Care Plus for free if you lease it. That's the only thing. Like I paid $200 for that. But I'm scared enough not to get it and I never used it with my 7 Plus. I bought it for that too. Never used it. But I mean, as soon as I don't buy it, I'm going to drop
Oh
it.
yeah, of course. You're totally gonna drop it. Yeah.
With running, I always get it.
Lease them through your provider or through
Yeah.
Apple?
I lease it through my provider. So
Because with Apple, it's 0%. I mean, it's the same price. There's no finance charge.
Well, same with my phone, but I mean, I own it when it's over, though.
yeah, see, I have to turn. I can either, now that my lease is over, I can either buy it, or I can lease another phone, or I can just keep doing what I'm doing, but that doesn't go towards anything. It's just me paying money for
25
a
a
lease.
month or whatever.
Yeah, for a lease that doesn't matter because I'm not paying off my lease anymore, so I don't get the phone, or so I'm just like, well,
like Mike said, though, how much do you use your phone in the scheme of things?
Yeah,
it breaks down to
exactly.
value. But that $1,200 check's a big number. I mean,
all
that's
day, every day. Yeah,
The price of a MacBook. Like, that when I thought about that, I'm like, man, a MacBook, like that's ridiculous to pay that for a phone. But like I said, I mean, it's my primary, it's what I'm on all the time. So
24, I mean, all the time. It's worth it to spend spend the most and make it worth
let's
more.
all just, we're great at that. Let's justify Disney trips and Apple products. That's
yeah, exactly.
Make sure we all feel good tonight. We go to sleep. We could all sleep. All right. Let's do food and wine. Okay, here we go. This is
All right.
34. All right. Here we
Oh,
go.
Pam's looking studious now.
I need to.
I know.
I got mine just in case.
There you go.
I forgot to put my contacts in today. So.
I haven't noticed. I might need my glasses.
I have to take my glasses off to read because I can't see far away, but I can see up close.
I saw
You're reading.
my wife was the other day looking at her phone like this. She was like, "Oh, you're getting there, Pam. Oh,
The evolution should be that as you get older, your arms get longer, right? So you can.
I know Steve has to wear them to read too, but I always have to take my glasses off to read my phone. It's so stupid.
It'd be
I can
nice if
see
I could
great at
see
that.
in general without having anything in my eyes. 'cause
agree.
I can't. No, I literally can't see. Like, things could be this far in front of my face. I can't see it. It's not. No.
Well, I got the big phone. I can't see hardly ever either. All right, here we go. Let's see.
All right, let's do this.
84. Okay. Welcome to episode 1384 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com. I'm one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Thanks so much for joining us here for some food and wine talk. We're going to have a good time, but grab a snack. Grab some pork rinds or some Fritos.
Pork rinds? You went with pork rinds.
Pork rinds are good.
That's the first thing you went with. was
You know what? I
pork
could have
rinds.
said Funyuns. Funyuns are pretty good too, but just don't come around me because you'll have some wicked breath. So just saying, grab your favorite snack. It doesn't matter. We won't judge. So
I might judge if you do pork rinds.
Well, no, of course we're gonna judge.
Man, you gotta love it.
This kid right now is out on the Disney Magic, so it's all good. We have Ricky from DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and the Mouse for Less.
That's right. That's right. Yell at me all you want about the type of snack that you are eating right now.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm on a ship. I don't care.
You're eating all the fancy snacks right now.
I am enjoying Rapunzel's Royal Table. I am enjoying Lumiere's. I'm enjoying Animator's Palettes, Cabanas. I mean, what else can I say? It's a glorious day for Ricky. It's at sea day for Ricky. So, Palo. I'm hoping I'm at Palo. Actually, I'm at Palo tonight for dinner. So, I hope I'm at Palo again for my other at sea day. But I'm definitely eating Palo tonight because tonight's actually pirate night. And I don't really like the pirate night menu. So I made my reservation for Palo because after the last cruise, they changed the pirate night menu to something that was god awful. So I said, no, I'm not doing that again.
Pirate Night's still not the ribs? I love the ribs.
No, they changed the menu last time. You guys weren't there for pirate night last year, I don't think. I don't know where you got. That might have been tequila night. I don't think you were eating anything. I think you were in your room passed out because it was me, Hannah, Paige. And that was it. That was me, Brian, Hannah, and Paige, I think, at dinner. And none of the adults were there. I don't count myself as an adult. So.
I don't think I would have missed Pirate Night because I always had my costume. I like dressing up.
I'm pretty sure you did. So anyway, Pirate Night dinner was not very good the last time. So I was kind of disappointed. Yeah.
Also joining us, we have the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester. Pam, how you doing on this Friday?
I'm doing okay, but I really wish I was on this ship. I'm just gonna say. So Ricky's making me a little jealous. I knew I was going to be.
You could have joined me. I'm just saying.
No, when would I have fit that in?
You could have fit it in.
I think I've been gone 6 months this year, so I have to every now and then come in and do some work. So anyway.
Just have Steve pay for more vacation.
Steve is definitely out of vacation time. So
yeah, my Pam turned to me the other day and said, how much does Steve get for vacation again? Because they're gone again. Yeah, it's like I know how it works. I guess I said he's really good at what he does, obviously, because he's irreplaceable.
He's been there and he's been at the same company for 25 years.
Wow, that's impressive.
So he never took a sick day and he's taken them all in 2018. He's like,
yes.
Since college, yes.
All right. Also joining us today, we have Chef Todd from here in St. Louis to talk some food and wine festival. Todd, how's it going on this Friday?
Doing great. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, anytime. We love having you on the show because you are the expert. So folks who don't know you, give us a little background on, your background with you're really an expert when it comes to dining. You know what's going on. So, how did you fall into this? I just like to eat cheap food from terrible places. But,
yes, this is true. Yes.
That's my thing. So give us a little background on stuff. Go ahead.
I wouldn't call myself an expert. I was a chef for a long time, so I know how food's supposed to be prepared. So it gives me a little advantage when I sit down to a place. But I take a restaurant for its face value. I mean, there's nothing wrong with sitting at Casey's Corner all day long and eating corn dog nuggets. I like that, as well as going to Citrico's. I love that too. So it's I just kind of take it for face value and judge it on what it's supposed to be and what I know it's supposed to be coming from the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's what I like, because it's anything. And I truly do. I enjoy Chef Casey's Corner. I mean, not Chef Mickey's Casey's Corner, whatever. It's hot dogs. So you were just down at the festival. And if you don't, give everybody your Instagram so they can check that out as it goes along. Because you have so many great pictures of some of the stuff we're going to talk about, probably everything we talk about today.
Yeah, they can look at them while we're talking about it. That's Chef Todd 55. That's my handle on just about everything. And there's a bunch of pictures on there, mostly Disney stuff, mostly Disney food, some personal stuff, but a lot of Disney food. So just about everything I tried was on there, good or bad. I put it all up.
All right. So when were you down at the festival? A few weeks back, right?
Yeah, opening day. We went down the night before, like we always do. Stayed at the beach club, got there bright and early, and hit rope drop, and the rest is history.
All right. So walk us through the festival. What were your experiences? Give us some of the good, the bad, the secrets, all that stuff.
Well, strategy wise, definitely want to get there first thing in the morning. If you want to do some damage, you got to get there first thing. The opening weekend, they did open the booths about 10:30, and I think that might have been just because of opening weekend. So I don't know if that's normal. I was only there through Tuesday, so I didn't see anything different. But definitely get there early. There's 15 kitchens on the promenade this year, which encompasses the bridge towards between World Showcase and Future World. And also the festival center. So there are 15 kitchens outside of the actual World Showcase this year. So there's it's almost half. So there's a lot to do. What I like to do is get to one of the ropes at either France or on the other side, just past Norway, right at 10:45. As soon as those ropes drop, just head on back towards the American Adventure and do my damage then.
Well, really what it is, I mean, if you think about it, exactly what you're describing is basically the theme park touring strategy for the food and wine booths. I mean, that's you really think, where's everybody else going? I'm going the opposite direction. I mean, that sounds like it makes a ton of sense.
Zig when they're zagging. If you're walking against the crowds, you're doing the right thing. But yeah, that's it. That's my strategy for that. We were there for 3 days, did just about everything. The promenade kitchens get busy because people are already there. They don't, even the ones that don't know food and wine is happening are already in that area. So they will get busy and they'll be busy all day. So I recommend dividing that area in at least 2 or 3 sessions. And if you want to hit them all, those crowds are pretty busy.
So you guys were down there at the very beginning of the festival. So they're kind of, and we were there. We used to have Epic October events like in September. We go right as it actually, Ricky, were they in like August? Yeah, I guess
it started in August this year, but it started in September when we started going. So yeah, for Epic October.
Up and back. So it's 75 days now, or I don't know. It's a lot. But
the thing is, there's plenty of time to get to the festival. Even if you're listening to the show today, you could book a trip and get down there and you know what? My biggest suggestion too with food and wine is, and I've learned this from the past, is if you can sneak it in during the week, that's awesome. Like the weekends are nutty. I mean, if you're into that, that's fine. If that's the only time you can get over there, that's fine too. But I agree with what Todd said. Food and wine's best experience early afternoon and during the week. Like I'm getting old. That's kind of my style. All right,
if you can do it for sure. I mean, and people say the weekends are crowded, and they are crowded, and it's not a big drunk mess like people say. It's still doable. You can't do as much. And if you have a couple runners, some people in your family that can go to one booth and grab something while you grab something else, it's still doable. But the optimal time is certainly during the week and during the day. That's for sure.
All right, so give us some stuff not to miss, because I know we have lots and lots of listeners heading down for the Halloween party for food and wine. You got the wine and dine race weekend. Tons of the lizards are running that weekend. It's a great combination because you're running so you can eat all the food and drink all the drinks. So give us some not misses there.
All right. Well, my best bet was in Mexico. It was a tostada, so that's right up your alley.
Yeah, it is. I get that. That's what I get at Taco Bell.
No, I don't think it's the same thing, Mike. I was going to say
spicy tostada from the dollar menu. That's exactly.
That's definitely not the same thing. Yeah.
Not quite $1. No, good braised beef. I got some notes here, so I'm going to look off to the left. But yeah, braised beef over some really creamy black beans and a really crunchy tostada shell is awesome. Not big, but a good value. 3 or 4 bites. It was nice. Couple different scallop dishes this year I really liked. One was from the Wine and Dine Studios, which is one of the kitchens on the promenade. Had some fresh mushrooms and a little truffle celeriac puree that was really good. One of my favorite dishes, believe it or not, was vegan this year. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a big carnivore, but there's the Impossible Burger. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've heard so many people talking about the Impossible Burger and how actually good it is.
Dude, I would eat it on purpose. I mean, it was really good. I wouldn't known for sure that it was vegan. I guarantee it was good. I don't know what's in it, but it's vegan.
I've heard about the Impossible Burger on
probably got eaten, and that's why it's called Impossible. But
because they're saying next to the food of the future. Like I heard about that on the tech news today or something. I'm like, they're talking about the Impossible Burger. So
it's a brand name, right? And Disney is using it because they just put it in a slider. It's got an Asian slaw and some wasabi cream. It's phenomenal. I mean, I would go back for sure.
Now, Todd, where do you find that Impossible Burger? Where's that one at again?
It's the Wine and Dine Studio. That's one of the promenade kitchens between Club Cool and the refreshment port outside of Canada. So on that little before you get to the bridge.
Walkway.
Yeah, before you get to the bridge, there's about 5-6 kitchens along that walkway there. Flavors from Fires. There's a bunch of them there. Another big hit was the beef stroganoff. Braised beef. There's a lot of braised beef at this festival. They that's one thing I want to mention. They didn't get real creative over the off season. A lot of returners, not a whole lot of new stuff. That's not necessarily bad, but if you're looking for new items, this isn't your year. But they did bring back a lot of good ones.
Well, I think they do that a lot because, you know, so many people are like, oh, Food and Wine is my favorite, you know, that kind of thing. And they get disappointed when their favorite isn't there. So right. I think that, yeah, it's totally a fine line that they have to walk of, oh, well, let's go crazy and put all kinds of new stuff in there. And then you get people who are upset. Like, yeah, you know, a few years ago, they took away that fisherman's pie that, you know, Ireland had, and they haven't brought it back. And that was amazingly delicious. Not good on a hot day, but really delicious. So
if you only get one day there and you're there for the macaroni and cheese or that, and it's gone, then you could be disappointed. So it would be a tough decision. I would like to see them do some new things, but there just really wasn't much this year. Again, everything was good, or a lot of stuff was good, but just not a whole lot of new.
Yeah, agreed.
Wendy mentioned the Impossible Burger is also available at Nomad. I didn't know that. That's great. Good to know.
Oh, that's interesting.
Thanks, Wendy.
There's it's hard to say, a plant-based brat at Casey's and Friar Nooks that are delicious too.
Interesting.
Huh.
Those are both Kingdom. Interesting. Cool. I'm not sure if I'll try the plant-based brat because I can't say it. But the Impossible Burger is definitely good.
Impossible Burger is hard enough. Okay, so I got this question for you, Todd, because I was wondering this when I was following you on Instagram, because it was a great trip. But I mean, I am not kidding. You had so many. First of all, your pictures, like I'm joking, but like the food that you take pictures of, I'll smile for the camera. Like they're so good looking. Like I just wanted to like get in there and just eat it. It looks so good. But how do you like pace yourself and get around and, you know, really sample all these items? Because I know like I would go in when I go down to Food and Wine and be like, okay, I want to try these 17 things, but then I'm full after like 3 or 4 or 5. I can't pace myself. And then I get tired of walking around, standing in lines. You got to a lot of different items. So what, you know, you mentioned kind of your strategy, but how do you make sure you see so much?
Well, I'm a unique situation. I write a blog for Ricky and I want to make sure I tried everything. So I didn't really do it like a normal, person would do. So I even mentioned that in my last blog. I said, you can do this, but I don't recommend it. It's not for the faint of heart. We had probably, 50 to 60 plates in 2 days. So I definitely don't recommend doing it that way.
And for those who want to read Chef Todd's blog, the first part goes out today. So you can read all about this today. And then the second part goes out on Tuesday of next week. So if you're wanting to see the photos and stuff like that too, and find out a little bit more, you can read the Mousefulness blog and you'll get to learn all kinds of different juicy tidbits from his adventures around World Showcase and, well, I guess Future World too.
But yeah, if for the normal person, hit a few in the morning before 11:30, get 3 or 4 kitchens in, and maybe go about your day. Then try to go to the promenade section in the afternoon and have a snack or two. But hitting it all day long is not necessarily the way to do it, unless that's what you want to do. If you want to, it's fun. It's you can pace yourself and do it all day. It's a blast.
So do you skip totally, table service dining, counter service dining when you're down there for Food and Wine? It's just the booths.
I do, for the most part. Yeah, for the first few days, I did. I did hit Terralina the second night. It was one that I've been wanting to try, and that was kind of a mistake. We didn't get to finish much of our dinner, but it was good, really good.
Okay, all right. I was like, was it because it was good, or was it because of what
it was fantastic? I guess. I mean, I just didn't get to finish it all, but yeah, there's a strategy. 2 years ago, I booked club level room at the Beach Club during Food and Wine. Really a dumb idea, just so you know. It's a complete get home at 7:00. Like,
maybe now it's not the time for club level.
No, I got a deal on it, and it was fun, but definitely not the time to do it for sure.
That's a good point. That's a really good point because, like, hey, let's go down and have some snacks. Oh my gosh, that's what I've been doing all day. And Michael in the chat says, they did Food and Wine and they basically just did the booths and kind of, skip the ADRs for that trip. And they said they saved a little bit of money. They kind of kept track of things and, kind of snacked and that's how they ate. So that's an interesting thing. Pam,
it's a surprising value. Pam was talking about that, the folio you get at the end of the trip with all your costs broken down. I had a ton of them on there, but the total price wasn't too bad for all the food I ate. And all the fun we had, it really wasn't a bad deal. So it can be a value if you want to do it that way for sure. And the ADRs are expensive. The table services are expensive no matter how you do it. So there can be a value there for sure.
Absolutely. Pam, you guys go down for Food and Wine every year and, you've kind of come up with a strategy. I know you do some sit down dining, you do the Food and Wine kiosks. And how do you find that balance when you're down there during the festival?
It's hard because, like, Todd mentioned, there's all these little things that you want to try and, you sort of do it. We sort of tend to hit Food and Wine right when it opens, and kind of make a circle. And I always have a few things in mind that I know I want to try. But I am someone, and Steve is too, who gets tired of little things at some point, like little snacks. But like, I want to sit down and have like a meal and like not have to eat on a trash can. And
Wait, you don't want to eat on a trash can?
Want more than 2 sips of whatever beer or wine I've ordered. So at some point I won't say that I do it every night, but I do try to schedule some actual meals in there too, so that we can just sit down and enjoy ourselves. I know. I love that little trash can meme because it is so true. But you do feel like you're like balancing food as you look for some place to like take a photo,
yes,
then eat it, and then
it's all cold. And
yeah, exactly right. So, anyways, but yeah.
When you said about the photos, we were there opening day, and then the place is crawling with bloggers, and I just took my photos right there on the counter at the food kitchen as soon as I got my first dish.
Yeah.
And the cast members even knew to get away. They got out of the light and everything, and I just took my right there.
Like, okay, blogger coming through.
Yeah, they seen it all day long. They're like, I got to get out of this guy's way. I don't want to shadow.
That's so true. On the first day of the festival, they're probably just like, another blogger, check, got it.
A little quick there. I didn't see Lou Mangello this year. I usually see him at winning day. I think he bagged up.
That's so funny. He couldn't swing a bat without hitting a blogger on the.
Nope.
Oh, that's the truth. A lot of cameras out there. It's fun. It's is it overdone a little bit? Probably, because you can do it for 75 or 100 days. But opening day is just like an event unto itself. It's just fun because it's bustling and everybody's there for that, and everyone want to be the first ones. Not that anybody's really going to be the first ones, but it's just kind of fun to watch. It's fun to be there.
Give us a few more like not misses for the festival, because we have actually folks in the chat that are down there right now kind of going around, and people that are coming down very soon. So what else not to miss?
Honorable mentions: Japan. Everything in Japan was good. They have a really good sushi roll there, with spicy sushi roll. They have what's called a beef nigiri. Nigiri is typically raw fish. In this case, it was a little piece of sushi rice with a seared piece of roast beef on the top of it with some wasabi sauce. It was weird as heck, but really, really good. Everything in Japan was good. Brazil was excellent this year. They have a crispy pork belly. Talking about fried pork fat earlier. Crispy pork belly with some good black beans. That's always good. That's a returner again. They had a good seafood stew this year. I think that was new. It was new to me anyway. I hadn't had it yet.
I think that is new this year.
Yeah, I think it was. It was really, really good. Some white rice and fresh seafood and a little white sauce and some micro cilantro on top. It was fabulous. They had a little cheese bread. It's like a puff, like a, what am I trying to say? A little popover with some cheese on top. Inside is really good. I tried it all. It was good. China was good again this year. Italy was thumbs down again.
I just can't do it. I don't understand.
Poor countrymen. I can't. They just can't. They had a Frito Misto this year, which is a mixed fry. It had shrimp and sweet potatoes this year and some green beans. And it was good. It was fine. But, I mean, you can do better than that. And they had a chicken cacciatore, which was like a braised thigh with very little vegetables, kind of a boring red. They couldn't even do red sauce and polenta. So, whatever.
That's such a
Skip
disappointment.
Italy again. Sorry.
Oh, no. That's such a
Man,
disappointment.
and Tutto Gusto so good. The restaurants in Italy itself are just so good. I just don't understand it. But it's been 4 or 5 festivals in a row. My cat's going to come up and join us here in a second.
Just probably will too.
Flavors from Fire is another good booth right there by the back of Club Cool. Speaking of Club Cool, there's a little air conditioned spot there, right behind Club Cool in that old Innovations building. They have some beer taps set up there this year, which is nice. A bunch of tables in the air conditioning, and the light lab is there too. That's a returner from last year. That's a cute little booth inside the center there too.
Let me ask you this, because I think I missed something. Is there now a pizza window?
Yeah, Ben.
I didn't even know that was open.
Yeah.
I never used it. I don't think it's the same pies from inside. I think it's from a different oven. But I don't know that for sure. I've heard that.
Yeah, somebody was telling me about that the other day, and I'm like, wow, because I've always said they needed that. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's from a separate kitchen. I don't know that for sure though.
So fill us in on this stuff though. That was, you kind of mentioned Italy. They missed the mark. And it seems like this is kind of a historic thing for Food and Wine. They just they have great restaurants but don't do it in the kiosks. What are some things that were disappointing that maybe people that you figured maybe you had high expectations for that didn't meet your expectations, or just something that maybe you don't want to get so hyped up for that they're disappointing on this trip?
Sure. Overall, everything was good. A couple of things that just were not good at all. The shrimp quesadilla, ironically, in Mexico, the best was in Mexico, and the worst was in Mexico too. The shrimp quesadilla, which I had high hopes for, totally bland and boring. Again, this was opening day. Sometimes things change; they evolve over the festival, so it might be good. Now, can you guys hear the lawnmower in the back room? I apologize.
No, it's all right. My neighbor does that to me sometimes too.
Everybody but my lawn guy.
My comment. There you go, Larry. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.
But no, the shrimp quesadilla, which is hard to mess up if you ask me, and it was really bland and terrible. In Spain, paella again this year, which is a rice dish. They used the wrong kind of rice. Very dry, flavorless. The paella was bad, really bad. Braised beef in Africa was not very good this year. There's a dish in Germany, and I'm going to try one time to pronounce it. It's called a chicken noodling. It's basically a noodle.
You got to clean your rating here now, Todd.
It's like a noodle dish with white sauce and baked in a gratin with ham in it, which sounds like a German macaroni and cheese. Should be great, but it wasn't.
Oh, that's kind of a bummer too. Yeah, like mac and cheese with ham. Hello, that sounds amazing.
Right?
Yes.
Germany helped me out, but they didn't.
That's a bummer.
Good desserts this year too. I don't usually do the desserts, but I gotta say that almost everything I had this year dessert wise was really good. So anybody's looking for sweets, just about everything I had was tasty.
So Michael's commenting in the chat that he said that the mead in Ireland, I don't know if mead or mead, but he says very, very tiny. So what did you think about value as far as serving sizes and what the prices were for the festival this year overall?
Well, mead is a drink. It's like a honey base. It's a cocktail. I've never had it. The value on the cocktails and the beers at the actual kiosk is not very good at all. The beers are small and expensive. I don't drink much of the beer from theirs. I usually get a beer somewhere else. The wines are very small and expensive. The cocktails are really, really expensive. There's some good ones, but they're very expensive. Food wise, I think it was a pretty good value this year. For the most part, you're looking $5, $6, $7, $8 for a good sized portion. So stick with the food, pass on the beverages. But if you want one, go ahead and go for it. But you're not going to get the value there. You're just not.
Yeah, I think that on average, like a lot of the cocktails are running like $10, $11 for a very small cup of, and it's like that you can go, to one of the actual restaurants along World Showcase and grab a beverage for the same price, basically, and you get a much bigger drink.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And the wines are small pours and they're tasting, and I get it. That's the concept. But if you did buy the ounce pricing on some of that stuff, you're really not getting the value at all, for sure. It's just definitely another way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, is the Farm Fresh booth still there this year?
Somebody mentioned that, and I don't think it is. I was going to check my notes. I don't think it's there. There was the Florida Farm Fresh was right there in the promenade, and I don't see it. I was going to look at my book, but I don't think it is. Somebody mentioned about the fried chicken on a biscuit with red eye gravy in chat earlier, and that was good last year, but that wasn't there again this year.
That's one, if they had it, that could stay for 10 years. I mean, that'd be something I'd go to. What about the one thing I haven't been there in a couple of years, which I need to fix. I stopped running Wine and Dine a couple of years ago, and because of Dopey, because I was just paying too much for races, and I missed the Food and Wine Festival, which is kind of a drag. But do they still have the Hawaii booth with the sliders?
It's good. That's on my list too. It's always good. They have the Spam Hash, which is awesome. The Kahlua pork slider, good again this year. This year's tuna dish, sometimes it's a poke, which is like a raw diced tuna. This was a tataki. It's a seared piece of ahi tuna, sliced thinly with some seaweed salad and a little wasabi cream. That's small, but very good. Hawaii nails it every year. They just do a good job. Mm-hmm. Canada nails it every year. They have a beef tenderloin dish. I didn't try it this year. I've had it 15 times in my life. I figured this is a good time to give it a break, but it kills. It's the number one seller. I made friends with the culinary director at Epcot years ago, and we've talked in the past, and he said that's just their number one seller far and away. It just flies out of there.
I've had that a few times.
It's easy. It's steak and mushrooms and sauce. I mean, who doesn't want steak, mushrooms, and sauce? I mean,
it's good, and it kills every year. Their cheese soup, I'm the only one that doesn't like it, but it flies out of there too.
Yeah, that's true.
We are simple folk Americans. Give us some steak, and we're pretty set. For the most part.
The numbers are mind-boggling how much they go through. It's just staggering.
So let me, that's a good question to ask you, because I've wondered this, because it just seems like there's so much going on during the festival, the preparation, because you've been a chef. I have no idea. I just know that there has to be such a systematic approach to keeping that food, prepping it, keeping it safe, preparing it, not in a normal kitchen, but, basically on stage out there on the promenade. Tell us about, your thoughts on how they pull off something like as massive as the Food and Wine Festival for 75 days.
I think for the most part, they do a fabulous job. It's really difficult cooking in a 12 by 12 plywood box in 1,000-degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just is. And those kids do it great. And they're all entry level. All the kids that are working in those booths, for the most part, are entry level kids, part timers, and they do a great job. It is all about the prep, though. I don't know where the kitchens are in back. I don't know how far they have to travel. But you mentioned safety. Food safety is a huge issue, and it doesn't take long for something to sit at room temperature and not be, satisfactory health code wise. So I don't know how they do it. I'm glad I don't have to be honest with you. That's hard. It's a difficult job, but they do. And I think for the most part, it's hard to complain about having fun at Disney, but there are some things that don't necessarily cut the mustard. But I think overall they do a fantastic job at all the festivals, and food's hot. Food's, presented the same way. I think they do a fantastic job.
So let me ask you this too. So along with Food and Wine Festival, just kind of, the way I do it, I just walk through Epcot and go to the booths that interest me and go. And, that's kind of how I roll. It's very, low maintenance, easy, but they also offer many specialty, shows and presenters. And I know I saw something the other day. They had a kind of an ESPN themed tailgating experience where you could kind of tips there. I thought that'd be kind of interesting, but do you do any of those things, or what are your thoughts on those plus experiences where you can kind of get meet celebrities and stuff like that?
I don't typically, just because I don't have time because I'm eating so much, but a lot of my friends do, and they love them. The celebrity chefs will come in and do a demo, or there'll be a brunch demo, or there'll be a wine tasting. A lot of them were held in the festival center. Some were held in specific restaurants, and I get nothing but good reactions from my friends that actually do this. I typically don't. Like I said, I lived in a kitchen for years. I don't want to live it on vacation, but it's fun for people that have never done it, and I think there's a lot to be learned there. They're pretty expensive, but it's Disney. What are you going to do?
So I think it's Walt Disney World's a place where you can kind of live out your dreams, and I think that now more than ever, especially in the last, say, 5 years, people now call themselves foodies, and it's a way of life for them, and they're very curious. You got all the shows on TV, and this is a great experience to get up and personal, because if you want to watch the shows, that's one thing, but now you get to like interact. And Ricky, I mean, what do you feel about this? I mean, with all these, you get to be a part of and kind of live out the dream. It's like fantasy baseball camp for me. You can go down to Food and Wine and really, get involved in these experiences.
Absolutely. I mean, if you want to learn more about how they do these things, or, get tips and things like that. I mean, I'm not really much of a cook. I can cook decently, but I still need help. You know what I'm saying? So like watching a chef prepare something, it opens my eyes to maybe some of the things that maybe I didn't know that I would enjoy. For example, I did kind of a thing at Paddlefish a couple of months back where they cooked in front of me, taught me how to make some of the dishes and things like that. And I found it to be very interesting because I was able to try things that I didn't necessarily think that I would like, mashed cauliflower. I mean, I can't say that I would make that here at home very often, but after trying it there, it's one of those things where, granted, I haven't made it yet, but it's now in my brain of, I actually enjoyed that. So maybe I will make mashed cauliflower here, moving forward in the future. So I think that that's kind of one of the nice things about these kind of seminars is it shows you something that maybe you didn't know that you would enjoy, and it opens your eyes to trying things that you maybe wouldn't have tried before. And I think that that's such a huge thing about these seminars.
Plus the technique you learn. I mean, you can apply those techniques to everything. You're mashing cauliflower, but you can go home and mash any squash or so the techniques are nice to learn because you can apply it across the board.
Absolutely. I learned about pickling. I didn't know anything about pickling before. I thought you only pickled pickles, but apparently you can pickle lots of things.
Pickle peppers.
That's right.
All right. So let me ask you this, Todd, because I think that when we think of Food and Wine, like in our mind's eye, at least for me, and it might not be the same for everybody, I think of it as like the adult event. It's like the adult side of Epcot. You travel with your daughter, and what I find is Mallory last night was making brownies in the kitchen. Now they were a mess when they came out. They weren't the best. Like she didn't wait for them to cool, and she dug out the middle of it before Pam and I.
Why not? That sounds amazing.
For a walk, we're like, we're gonna have brownies when we get back in. And then we came back in, and she'd already scooped out the inside of the middle of the pan.
The middle's the best part.
I know. That's what I wanted. But she didn't put it in the square. She just scooped out the middle, and then it was just a wreck. We had the hard sides. But kids are very interested in food nowadays. I think it's this era because of YouTube and stuff like that. So, Todd, you went around with your daughter. So what's that like? Because I think this could be a great experience for kids.
Oh, first of all, you have to get her. I got her fake ID so she can get beer from. No,
of course, yes.
No, she loves it, and she's grown up with it. She's been to as many festivals as I have, so she likes it, and she understands that that for us it's a little different. So she runs and gets food for me once in a while, but she pays attention to the cooks that are back there, and she comments on it, so she learns from it too, and it's a big part of Disney for her. She's definitely a food person.
How do you handle, obviously she's probably not so much of a picky eater with those booths. So, does she like to enjoy the dishes like you guys do, and how do you handle that? Yeah.
She's no different than any kid. She has things that she doesn't like, but her favorite food is squid. I don't think anybody.
There you go. No, I definitely.
Anybody else at
Mike Robin doesn't like squid, so you got it there.
I like seafood. I'd try
it. I like calamari. You'll eat a fried calamari. No, but yeah, her palate's a little different than most people's, but she's picky like anybody else. So, but there's enough there for everybody. So if your question is if you have a picky child at home, there's still something for everybody. If you want, you just have to be a little more selective. And
this year, I know that they've kind of highlighted. There's I think it's a strawberry. That's the icon for. Dishes that are maybe kid friendly. So if you do have a pickier child, those dishes are going to be highlighted. Yeah,
the strawberry like that on the passport. Yeah, and those passports are available everywhere. So definitely worth getting to start. A good way to start your planning. There's a V for vegan, and there's the little strawberry, like you said, for the kid friendly. Ones that the kids might enjoy. So there's enough out there for them. You got just seek it out a little bit.
That's good.
And so, Pam, one of the things I saw this year, which I think is very cool, that Disney is starting to move in this direction, is that, we first started to get those magnets, the pass holder magnets. Those are pretty cool, with Mickey Mouse or Minnie, and they had the holiday ones and stuff like that. And that they're adorned because of listeners that were kind enough to get me an extra, mail them to me over the holidays. And I appreciate that so much. But, for Food and Wine Festival, I think they have a cutting board for AP holders. I mean, that's is it cool? Disney's finally, of course, the pass costs, an arm and a leg. You get a cutting board, they're going to cut your finger off next time you renew. But is this a good sign that they're trying to honor pass holders with little trinkets and stuff like this, which the cutting board looks like a nice little touch.
Yeah, no, I think it is. I think that, if you look at how many days you could possibly enter Walt Disney World with your annual pass, it's still a fairly good price for that. Truly it is. It wasn't ever meant, I don't think, to be used the way folks use it now, right? They didn't anticipate that people were going to calculate down to the number of minutes you might be in the park and then decide, I'm going to buy an annual pass instead of just buying the pass with my, things like that. So I think it's still a pretty good price for that. But yeah, it is. It's nice to recognize those folks. And I want to just point out too, one of the things that I think has changed over the years, especially with Food and Wine, is now that people that have the dining plan, if you're going during one of those times, consider getting the dining plan, because Food and Wine makes it an even better value. The fact that you can exchange your snacks for Food and Wine snacks, items at most of the booths, the non-alcoholic ones, drinks and food. And then also that you're still able to exchange quick service for up 3 items, for 3 snack items at the booths too. So, there's a lot of, good reasons to consider that during any of the days of Epcot festivals. Your Food and Wine credit there, your Flower and Garden, your even the holidays all have these little food booths, and it's a great use of your snack credits on the Disney dining plan. So look at that.
Yeah, it definitely pluses having the plan. It gives you more flexibility when you're down there during the festival. I totally agree with that. So, Todd, as we wrap this up, we look at the 2018 festival, lots of folks, like I said, heading down still. We still have till November, mid-November, and it's only, mid-September at this point. any other tips to give to the listeners? Anything, that they need to think about that can make their trip? Maybe they wouldn't see it on a blog. Maybe it's something you thought of since you wrote your blog. Just something to leave our listeners with to have the best food and wine experience here in 2018.
Well, a couple things. I mentioned some desserts earlier. I'll let you guys find them on Instagram. But all the desserts are good this year. Had a really good time with those. Another thing that's kind of fun, we talked about kids. They do the Remy's Hide and Squeak, the little scavenger hunt. That's available again this year. The prizes are really cute little tumblers. That's something fun for the kids. If you can't, occupy them with food, try to occupy them with finding Remy at all the food kiosks. That's fun this year. Eat to the Beat concert series is always tacky and fun. I mean, some old band from the 70s, right?
I like that you used the word tacky with that.
At your sock hop or whatever. But we usually don't do that. But it's there if the people that do want to do it. And there's some dining some dining packages for those too if you're interested. There's a ton to do outside of just food. It's for everybody. There's stuff to do for everybody for sure.
Yeah, it's a great way to see Epcot. I mean, I think that when I think about Food and Wine Festival, I have two theories on it. One, it's exciting because it's a new way to see Epcot. But then again, when I go and it's not a festival time, not Food and Wine, or now Flower and Gardens kind of become a Food and Wine light, with all the kiosks and stuff. I like to see Epcot just without the booths, just put away, how Epcot should be. But it's a fun way to see it and supplement the experience, because it basically turns World Showcase from 11 countries into 38 or however many booths are around.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fun.
I can't remember the last time I saw a naked World Showcase. I really can't. I'm always there for Flower and Garden, Food and Wine, and Festival of the Arts. I don't remember the last time I was there when it was empty.
It was nice in the summer. It was empty in the summer. It's like It literally has a window of maybe 6 weeks, I think, when there's not a food booth out. So enjoy the summer if you don't like food booths.
Yeah, Flower Garden's over in the first part of summer, and then this starts at the end of summer. So what do you got? All of July, part of August?
You have all of July and maybe part of August that you don't have a food booth. Yes.
Yeah, what do you get? Obviously working for them, right?
Right.
It's Epcot's festival, the non-festival is what it is.
Yes.
It. All right. Well, hey, Todd, thanks for coming on with us. We appreciate your feedback on this, because we know that you are in the know, and you share this with us. You get us excited for it. Great pictures, great content. And you're always fun to talk to out there in the Disney community. So again, where can folks follow you one more time so they can check out all the stuff?
Sure. On Instagram, Chef Todd 55. I've got a little Facebook group that I have. It's called Chef Todd Eats Disney. We have a bunch of really smart Disney people on there. So if anybody's got questions about anything food related or non-food related, like I said, there's a lot of smart people in that group. If you want to join, hit me up. I don't really do Twitter. I'm same handle on Twitter, but I don't have much to talk about there. So mostly Instagram.
All right. Well, Todd, thanks for coming on and sharing all this with us. We really appreciate it today.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. Don't forget that today's show brought to you by the great folks over at the Magic for Less Travel. Still plenty of time to get down there for this festival this year. You got till mid-November. There are still rooms. Now, you got to get on it quickly. The rooms are going quickly this fall, because a lot of folks want to eat at the Food and Wine Festival and run the races and see Mickey dressed up like, I don't know, in his Halloween costume over at the Magic Kingdom, and see Jack and Sally and all that stuff. I mean, honestly, it's a great time to go. There's so much going on. You got the weather cooling off. Well, it's kind of cool.
No, it's not.
November could cool off.
It's not cooling off in Florida yet. No, it's not. No.
It's probably hot where you are too. So who cares? Go down and have fun.
Because I'm in Canada. It's not hot today. I'm freezing right now. Trust me. I packed all my winter stuff. I actually had to go buy some stuff because I was like, I don't have enough stuff to stay warm during this Christmas.
Killing my ad reads since 2008. Anyway, still plenty of time to go down. Check them out over at the Magic for Less. They in a great package.
I don't want charge for this one.
We charge this one to Pam or to Ricky.
Hey, the Magic for Less Travel booked my cruise up to the frigid.
All I got to say is they're the best. Check them out today at themagicforless.com. Please support the show with our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon, and follow along on the social media. We're at Be Our Guest Pod and at Be Our Guest Mike on Facebook or on Instagram and Twitter. And the Facebook page is facebook.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. We're going to be back again on Monday with a great trip report heading down to Walt Disney World to kick off next week. But right now, it's the weekend. So sit back and relax and enjoy. So for Todd, Ricky, and Pam, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great weekend. Whatever you do, stay safe, and we'll see you real soon. That was a good one. That was fun. That was a good one.
That was awesome. Yes.
Put that ad read on Ricky's tab.
And if only I knew what that beer was, because I had no idea that was a beer. I should have asked. I'm sure Paige had a bunch of them.
Mead.
No, it's made with honey. It's an ancient brew.
Wow.
I've heard of it. I've never had it, but
Viking times.
Yes.
Is it beer an expensive beer? Because if it's a cheap one, Paige probably had a bunch of them. If it's
well, he said it was small, so I guarantee it wasn't a cheap.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh my goodness.
Hey Todd, thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
That was fun. Anytime.
I will catch you guys all later.
All right. I'll see you.
Yeah.
Bon voyage. I'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
Have a great time.
Have fun,
Thank
Ricky.
you. All
All right.
right.
See you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, guys. See ya.